I want to recognize one of our own, classmate for some, schoolmate for all, a person who has devoted 20 years of remarkable service to athletics at Princeton University. And I don't want this opportunity to get away from us to be able to thank Gary Walters for all he's done for Princeton University. And it's with really a great privilege and honor to introduce our next speaker and guest here tonight, who is now the Princeton Ford Family Director of Athletics at Princeton, who showed wisdom at an early age when she turned down Harvard to come to Princeton in 1987. Because she had figured out already that the Princeton family, and Princeton community, and in particular the Princeton athletic community, was more like home, more like community. And she chose Princeton. She had a stellar undergraduate career in soccer and hockey. She has lived a successful life as a business person. I asked her before tonight to tell me a little bit about what she envisions for Princeton and what she aspires to here. And her response was that she seeks really to help people succeed in challenging environments, to work hard, to work with discipline, and to consistently try to be the best someone can be. So she looks for Princeton to continue to put out on the field or the pitch or the court the most competitive teams possible who exemplify the right values in athletics. And I am honored tonight to present to you Molly Marcoux. And before I forget, I'll just make sure that you get a football, the team of 64, and your own identified Molly Marcoux team of 64 book.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, thank you, Ron, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you all for inviting me to be here and share this evening with you. This is a really special honor for me, and one that I've really been looking forward to since I first heard about your team back in the spring. I wanted to also thank President Eisgruber for coming here tonight. His support of athletics is remarkable, and it really means a ton to the alums, to the student athletes, to the coaches. I want to just share something a little bit today. I was walking through Jadwin, and we were doing a walkthrough of some signage and some various things, and President Eisgruber walked in, and I was unsure of why he was there, and he said he was meeting with the women's basketball team just to encourage them and to root them on as their season was beginning, which is just awesome. Important and impactful for our student athletes, and it means the world really to our entire program, so thank you for that. So over the past 2.5 months, I've had the opportunity to get to know a number of the members of the great team of 64, and it's really been just a remarkable pleasure, and it's been very clear why this team was so special and why you had so much success on and you've had so much success off the field. In early September, I had the great pleasure of having lunch with Johnny and Cosmo here at Springdale. And I think I wanted to stay for the entire afternoon. And we had such a great conversation telling me about their route to Princeton, their experience, their bond with this team, the bond with each other, what they learned through athletics and what they learned through this tremendous experience at Princeton. I knew I had some other meetings, but I was trying to text Kim under the table telling her that she needed to cancel the meetings because I was just having such a fantastic time. And really the advice that they gave me I use all the time. They gave me some great advice on Princeton, they gave me some great advice on Princeton athletics, and really those moments and that experience was really wonderful for me. When the announcement first came out that I was going to be the new athletic director, I think probably the first email I got was from Stosh. And I had never met Stosh before, but he sent this wonderful email introducing himself, and he told me that I'd be meeting with him during reunions. And then when I met with him during reunions, he told me that I would be coming to his house in Maryland in August. So I knew that that's where I would be. There wasn't a question. It didn't matter what I was doing. And so just hearing his story and hearing how he got to Princeton and all of the wonderful experiences he had really made me realize in that moment in May, before I'd even begun, that I'd made a great choice to come back to Princeton and the passion and enthusiasm that he had. And then we had the great opportunity to go down and enjoy a day with Julia and Stash, and my kids came down and the Seraces, and we had one of the most lovely days on the farm. And my kids, so as I was coming to dinner tonight, I said, I had to go to this dinner, and I told them where I was going, and Katie, who's my 9-year-old, she said, "Oh, you're going to see Stash?" I said, "Yes." So Katie says hi, Stash. And I have some great pictures of Stash with all the kids, Lisa and Bob's 2 kids, and my 3 kids on the cart running through the farm. And so again, just a wonderful community and experience there. But also on that day, I was able to meet Walt and to meet Ron. And I think John Plaster was going to come, but he had sent me a wonderful email saying he had to regret that day. So again, this experience for me, meeting so many of you, and I know tonight I've also met a number of you, and it's clear that all of the values and all the things that they held true are what you guys believe in. And it's been such a wonderful pleasure for me to be a part of this. I heard about Cosmo when I was a student here. I mean, how did you forget the name? Coming through. But I also met Bert Kerstetter when I was at reunions last year, and hearing the stories about how he would climb over your backslash to get into the end zone. and the wonderful support that he's shown for the PVC and for the Princeton Athletics is really remarkable, and I think we're going to honor some of that tomorrow at another. We're trying to get him to come to another event because he's very busy, but he's just been so fabulous. So I know all of you have made a tremendous contribution to Princeton Athletics, and really, really just appreciate that. The one thing I wanted to talk about is that the coaches here today, and I feel like I've been hanging around with the people from the 60s since I started. Gary and I have been spending a great deal of time together, and he's been a wonderful mentor and been really helping me through this challenging experience. So Gary, thank you for all your support and help. That has been so fabulous to me is to see the kind of people that Gary's hired. I think our coaches believe very firmly in this values-based coaching, and they care just as much about the wins and the losses as they do about being role models and making sure that our kids are having a fantastic experience and learning all the things that we all know you learn through athletics. And I would say the #1 example of that is Coach Serace. So Bob is just amazing, and he's a leader of all the leaders. So Bob and Lisa and I all went to college together. Lisa and I actually played soccer together and were great friends. So coming back and having Bob as the football coach and Lisa here really has made my experience so much better. And it goes back to the same thing why you guys are all here, is community and those relationships that are so important. But Bob truly believes in teaching the kids to be great players, but really, as Cosmo said, as you all are, he teaches them to be great men. And that's something that we hold so true to what we believe in. I just want to tell a couple of little stories about that. I mean, I could go on and on, but the football team on campus right now is really seen as leaders. Without question, as President Eisenhower said, it's very important that our football team is great. So when I was announced as the new athletic director, we did the press conference, and obviously it was a very stressful and nervous day. But there were a number of things that day that really made that experience so much easier for me. One was looking up and seeing Bob in the crowd, and seeing Jim Barlow, who's class of '91, who's our soccer coach, and seeing Jeff Campersall, class of '92, and sort of really eased my tension. But then as we walked out into the lobby, all of a sudden we looked over, and Gary came up to me and gave me a big hug, and we looked over, and all of the 2 football players had written a song about the new AD and the old AD. And they were singing in the lobby, which I looked at my husband and he couldn't believe it. I mean, that's sort of the specialness of Princeton football. Then the other thing is, I was having lunch with a history professor, and the history professor made a very big point to say the football guys on campus are very well regarded by the professors. They're doing it right, and they're working hard. They're great players. They're succeeding. They're allowing us to have this shared allegiance, but they're all really good guys. And that's because of Bob and what he teaches them every day. So I loved hearing that from the faculty, how important and how good the football team is. Then the last thing that I'll share with you, just as an experience that just happened last week. I know you probably all know Quinn Epperly, who's our superstar quarterback. but Quinn was hurt last week, and he wasn't able to play in the game, which obviously being a superstar quarterback in his senior year was very devastating for him, and everyone felt for him, and he of course was on the sidelines cheering on the backup and doing everything that he should be doing. But there was a side story happening that I wasn't even aware of that we found out afterwards. Apparently there's another boy whose name is Quinn Epperly, who lives in Ohio, who has autism. And he had written to Quinn when he saw his name being the player of the year, I guess last year, through a scroll on ESPN, and started writing to, and his parents started writing to our Quinn, Big Quinn. And Quinn apparently has responded with such dignity and such class, and has engaged this little boy, and he invited him to the game. And it happened to be last weekend's game. But Quinn, having not played, it was a difficult game for him. But afterwards, Bob does this great fifth quarter where all the kids can run out onto the field and enjoy the Princeton Stadium after the game. And Quinn, with the most dignity and class you can imagine, stayed the entire 15 or 20 minutes with little Quinn and played with him the entire time, and his family engaged. And it was just another example of how what Bob's teaching them and what our team's doing. Talking about the experience that this little boy will never forget. I got an email from, or you guys got an email from a woman who lived in town who heard about it, and just that experience is really what we're all here for, and Bob is doing a great job with that. So we're all really proud of that experience, and I just want to again thank you guys for including me in this. This has just been, I guess Gary probably didn't cry when he sees videos and when he gives speeches. I definitely get a little choked up in all of these experiences. So I just want to thank you guys for including me in this and letting me be a part of it. So we'll see you tomorrow on the field.
Yeah.